close rate by creating a really effective pitch deck. So I'm going to open up my playbook. I'm going to share with you a little bit of my pitch deck, some of the things that I'm working on for our clients, and show you how to increase your close rate by adding some visual aspects to the pitch.
You just do that. I'm doing this.
Okay. So what I'm going to share my screen and get into this. And so what I'll do is I do have a pitch deck I'm working on for clients, but I think what would be even more effective than that, I might show some of those slides, but I'm going to show you the slides from my pitch deck, and I'm going to explain how I sell and why I do what I do so that you can understand how to build out your own pitch deck. So I'm going to share with you the psychology behind the slides that I have in my own pitch deck, and I'll explain why I have those, and you'll be able to extrapolate, hopefully, and translate that into how that can impact you. And my lovely, I'm going to say assistant, but she doesn't like being called assistant.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that.
My COO and my wife, Sarah. This is my wife, Sarah. And she's also the CEO of DoorGrow. She's really brilliant. She's great at operations. And I wanted to make sure I introduce Sarah. She's can I say you just sold?
Yeah.
She's recently sold her property management business. She's had up to, I think, like 250 doors, managed them remotely with one part-time person, boots on the ground, C-class properties. So hopefully you're already a little bit impressed by her. And she's been able to cut several of our clients' staffing costs in half almost overnight. It's pretty ridiculous.
I've got that.
What's that?
I've got that part.
You've got what part?
I've got this part.
Oh,
I
know. They keep popping up.
I know.
All right. There's lots of people joining, and it's very distracting to somebody with ADHD like me. All right. So let me hit present on this.
Look over there.
And I'm going to move it onto this screen. I move this one. I've got 3 screens. I've got 4 actually. Enter full screen mode. And let me share my screen so you can see this. Okay. Now this I created for my sales team to be able to sell, because I don't do a lot of the sales anymore. So I think it's a great idea, and hopefully you're all taking notes. It's a great idea to have your first slide deck ready and waiting when people show up on your Zoom call, or you could have this on an iPad and have this while you're presenting. But as you introduce yourself and introduce the business, it's great to have some sort of visual that shows your brand, that makes it look credible, and shows some social proof. So notice here, I have images of me speaking. I have images of different people and team members. I have images of happy clients at our recent events. And so this creates a sense of social proof and lets people know, hey, this company isn't just the Jason Hole Show. We've got a lot of stuff going on, right? And so this is important, is to have a really good entry slide that people can come into. Okay, so, all right. So next, I have what I call this, you could call a filter slide. So if you want to, one of the important things, and I have a slide later that I'll showcase this, but you want to be the prize. In sales, we call that prizing. Prizing is the act of making yourself the prize instead of having the false perception, or I'm going to say it's false perception, that your prospect is the prize that you're trying to win. Because when you shift into that normal thinking that the prospect you're trying to sell to is the prize, you become needy, and needy is creepy. And so I recommend you create some sort of filter slide. So the example that I have on the pitch deck for clients is similar to this, but it says, who is this for? It says investors with rental properties, those that want more freedom, and they're ready to run their property like a business. For example, on the green checks and on the X's, it says not for micromanagers that are worse at property management than us, right? You don't want those clients. Overly emotionally attached to the property. We don't want those owners. And those that want to be heavily involved, right? So by saying who this is for, it kind of establishes for the person you're selling to become more of the person that you want. You're saying we don't work with everybody. And so who is this for? This, and is not really what we do is not for these types of people. So if you don't fit this, you don't qualify to work with us. And that's important. That's important to have this filtering slide. Then we get into setting the intention, and we have a slide for setting the intention. So this, I always recommend at the beginning of any sales conversation, you let them know what the intention of that conversation is going to be. And so you want this intention to be very clear. And this intention is based on what I call the 4 phases to selling. This is, something that I've come up with in just the recent years. Is the ultimate pitch involves 4 key phases. The first phase is all about your prospect. Second phase is all about you. Third phase is the pitch. And the fourth phase is action, or the next steps, or the ask. And so I'm pre-framing or road mapping what we're going to discuss during this call. So my intention for this call is to learn a little bit about you, figure out what you've tried so far to grow your property management business, and share a little bit about us, if it makes sense, share how we can help you, and see if we can help you solve your problems. And then we'll figure out what the next steps might be. Sound fair? And they agree. So then we want to ask them questions. So for your prospects, you're going to want to find out, how many properties do you have? Tell me about your investment goals. What are you looking to do in the future? For me, I just need to know how many doors, how long have you been doing this? What types of properties do you manage? What are you adding monthly? What's your biggest challenge currently? Are you familiar with DoorGrow? And one of my favorite sales questions, I highly recommend you ask this question. Why now? What's prompted you to reach out now? What's changed recently that now you're considering working with DoorGrow? You've obviously been managing your business for a while, or you've been dealing with challenges for a while. Or if it's an investor, you can say, you've had these rental properties for a while now. Why now? What's changed? You need to recognize that something has to have changed for them to now be considering working with you. There's something changed. And when I ask this question, why now, over the years, I've gotten some really dramatic answers, things they never would have told me. I had one guy tell me he was dying of cancer and he needed to get his business right for his wife. I've had people tell me that they just recently went through a divorce and now they have to figure out how to make money on their own without their partner. These kind of things come out when you ask why now. And the 2 things you need in order to sell is you need to know their pain and you need to know their pleasure. Like, what do they want to move away from and what do they want to move towards? And so we want to identify all this during phase 1 of getting to know them. A lot of times we're too superficial in sales. We think, oh, they just want property management. Let me tell you this right now. Nobody gives a shit about property management. Your potential clients do not give a shit about property management. They don't care about it. They don't want it. I actually have a slide about that. All right. So I have a slide now that kind of intros the problem and showcases credibility. So I want people to understand, even if they've never heard of us before, that we've talked to thousands of property managers and we have clarity and ideas that nobody else in the industry has because of our unique perspective that nobody else in the industry has. And that we have a roadmap. We can see the future that they want to create and we know how to get them there. So we talk a little bit about our business. We've helped thousands of businesses over the last decade. And are you ready? So the next slide here is leading into our DoorGrow code. This is our sort of framework, our roadmap. Many of you that are my past clients have probably never seen this. This is newer, but I basically boiled down a decade of knowledge into a single image. We call the DoorGrow code. And this is the big promise here, which I have, and you want to have some sort of big promise in your slides, how anyone at any door count can get to 1,000+ doors in the next 5 years. Here's the roadmap. I've talked to plenty of property managers that have not been able to build a business over 50 doors in 5 years. But I confidently can say, if somebody does what we tell them to do and follows the directions, I can get you to 1,000 doors in the next 5 years. I know the path. And here is the roadmap. So this is the DoorGrow code. Now, this is not a pitch call where I'm pitching to all of you, but if I were, I would then break down and help you identify where you are on this path. And if this is interesting to you and you do want to get to the next level, reach out to my team and we would love to go over this with you, triage where you're at. And this clearly shows which problems you're dealing with at different stages, what you need to stop doing, what systems are needed. And it has them in the right order because a lot of people go in the wrong order. They're putting the cart before the horse. So for example, they're trying to focus on profitability and squeezing out more KPIs and more metrics and trying to micromanage their team more when really they just need a better team. So they need all these systems in place down here. First, these systems are far more important at creating more profit because people are the most significant expense in a business. And if we can get them to give 3 times the output, or we can lower operational costs, doing brilliant things like Sarah's done for some of our clients, or helping them get these systems in place, they can have a team that's a lot more effective. Usually they just have the wrong team and they don't know it. And this is why you're constantly asking yourself, why can't my team just think for themselves? This question right here, right? Okay. So we won't go into too much detail, but this is a magic trick and you need some magic tricks. This is a magic trick that shows that that we understand the industry at a level that most of our clients coming to us don't even understand. So we can pull this magic trick out of the hat and show them, here's where you are. You are here, just like on a map at the mall, right? You are here and here's where you want to be. Here are the steps to get there. We've actually created in our program, in our mastermind, a belt system of criteria to achieve to get to different belt levels. Besides just getting door levels, door numbers, there's specific requirements related to profitability and systems and things that you need to get done in order to earn your yellow belt when you join our program, in order to earn your orange belt and to move up this. And it gives you a clear path so you know what to do to get to the next level to start winning. So you stop getting distracted by the wrong things. Now, any of you that are my current clients, you know that my main method of teaching sales, I call the Golden Bridge formula or the Golden Bridge script. And here is my slide where I am selling using the Golden Bridge formula. But the Golden Bridge formula, quick and dirty for those of you that are wondering what that means, is the Golden Bridge is you need to know your personal why, what motivates you and drives you outside of just trying to make money. Because the default assumption that your prospect has is that you are trying to get money from them. It's not a secret. They know that you want their money. But if that's all they know, they will believe that you're willing to do that as unethically as possible. You just want money from them. So you're willing to lie, cheat, steal. That's the default assumption in sales, unless you counter it by creating trust. And sales and deals happen at the speed of trust. You can write that down. Sales and deals happen at the speed of trust. So how do we create trust? We let them know honestly what our motive is. Do we love money? Yes. But, and this is my salesperson over here, the me, they'll tell them what their why is. And I teach my sales team members to get clear on what motivates them and drives them in life. It might be they love relationships or they want to make a difference in the world or whatever it is that motivates them. And that they get to make money doing it is just icing on the cake. And my personal why, Jason's why, is to inspire others to love true principles. So they are sharing my why as a CEO with the prospects. They're saying, this is why Jason started his business. This is why he does what he wants, why he does what he does. He loves to learn. He loves to share, and he wants to make a difference. And your why, we should have identified in phase 1. So we're now in phase 2, talking about our business. So you want to, and if they're an investor, you want to maximize the value of your rental property. You want to offload things and have things be easier because you want to take care of your kids and you want whatever it is that they want to do. Can't believe more people are still joining. Okay, so this is the Golden Bridge formula, is your personal why, connecting it to your business why, the Orgro's business why is to transform property management business owners and their businesses. Everybody on my team was hired to believe this. If they don't believe this or get excited about this, I don't hire them. We all buy into this belief. This is our mission statement in 8 words or less, right? Or 9 words or less, to transform property management business owners and their businesses. DoorGrow is the bridge for us to get what we want and to connect to you to get what you want. And so it's easier to trust motives and incentives, right? And our motive and incentive is for me to get what I want out of the business, for my team members to get what they want out of the business, and for our potential clients to get what they want out of DoorGrow as well. And that's the magic of the Golden Bridge, is it allows real trust to happen very quickly. Without the BS they teach you in old style sales of like, just build rapport and talk about their kids and pets. Like, you don't have to do all of that. All you have to do is be honest with why you're actually doing stuff. And if you think it's because you want money, then you lack clarity on what you really want, because there's a reason why you want money. And that's stuff we help you identify and get clarity on. So now here's a slide where we showcase contrast. This slide is to help them check in with where they're at right now emotionally, because people buy based on emotion. I want them to know how they feel right now in their own business. You want to know how they feel concerning the rental properties, because if they have no problems concerning the rental properties, then you are irrelevant. They don't need you. Just like if you have zero problems in your property management, you don't need DoorGrow. If everything's great and you're completely comfortable with the level of doors you're adding and how micromanaging you have to be with your team and the team members that you have, and you're completely comfortable with everything, and it's the business of your dreams, then you don't need DoorGrow, right? So we want to showcase contrast. We want them to get checked in, and we contrast it with what's the ideal, right? You're excited about your business. You're passionate. You're proud of it. You feel supported. You have fulfillment. You feel accomplished. So now I go deeper in our motives, right? This is our primary goal at DoorGrow. And you're very welcome to steal this idea. We encourage our clients to share this idea, and you can say, this is my goal as a business owner. This is why I have this business. I want to have more fulfillment in my day-to-day. I want to enjoy what I'm doing because I'm spending the majority of my time in it. This should be my primary source of joy in my life. If I'm spending that much time, I should be doing something I love. And that means not wearing every hat in your business, right? Some hats you enjoy wearing and some you don't. Second, freedom. I want more freedom. I want this to feel like freedom. I get to do what I want to be doing. And contribution. I want to make a difference. Once you have fulfillment and freedom, you want to help other people. You want to make a difference out there. And then support. This is why we start a business. We need that fourth reason. We need support, or we can't have the first three. You have to have a good team, or you're not going to have fulfillment, and you're not going to feel freedom. You're not going to be able to live contribution-focused life, because you're going to be wearing all the hats you hate doing and all the stuff you don't like to do, and you're going to be frustrated, right? And that's not why we started a business. Now, most people build their business bigger and bigger and make more and more money and have less fulfillment and less freedom and less contribution and feel less supported. You feel more like you're having to micromanage more. You're feeling like you're having to do more work. You're having to learn more things, and it's getting draining and harder and harder. And that means you're building your business the typical way most business owners do, which is the wrong way. And that's why most businesses fail in the first 5 years, right? We want to build a business that you love. So this is where we, again, let you know our goal is in alignment with your goal, motives, trust. I then have a slide sharing the fifth reason, right? Safety and certainty. This is what people want from you as a property manager. Sell this instead of property management. So this is another little magic trick I pull out of the hat where I kind of blow their mind, and they think they've been working so hard to try and sell property management to people. And then I just let them know nobody cares about property management. They want what they want, which is peace of mind. They want safety and certainty. For non-entrepreneurs, this is more important than having freedom in their life. You need to understand this. Like, most people on the planet would rather have freedom would rather have safety and certainty than have freedom. Everything related to the pandemic is starting to make sense to you, right? So that's okay. There's nothing wrong with people having a different order of this. I just need you to understand that entrepreneurs are a bit different, and your team will probably be a bit different than you. They want safety and certainty. That's why they went and got a job. So that's important to understand. And that means that's what you're selling. So that's another magic trick showing I understand the industry. So something comparable is you could be explaining to them, maybe they want safety, they want peace of mind concerning their property. You can say, I know you don't really like wake up and dream about property management and think it's the most exciting thing in the world. And they might laugh and they'll agree, right? Okay. So I like to ask questions during the sales process because this gets them thinking ahead, and then I'm going to answer questions. And I usually like to do things in groups of 3. So one of the things is, for those of you that are clients and you have access to our scripts and our different things that we do, you'll notice in my scripts, there's a lot of redundancy, and it's intentional. I say things in 3s. I'll ask the same question in 3 different ways. I'll say it 3 times. See what I just did there? I just said it in 3 different ways, right? That I'm saying it in 3 different ways. I do that because it takes people a while to digest information and to consume information, and they need to be, they need time to process. And if you say it in multiple ways, it helps their brain kind of piece this together and formulate an answer, and it gives them time to kind of think through this. So here I have 3 questions. What do you need most as a business owner? So you might say, what do you need most as a property owner? And then you might say, what do your properties or what does your portfolio need most? Those might be different things, right? And they might be somewhat in conflict, or there might be some alignment there. And then you like, which one's more important? It's just a question to make them gauge this. Well, maybe what I need is more important. Or maybe what the business needs is more important. But maybe they're both important, right? Okay, so now this is another quick framework that we have in DoorGrow. We call it the 6 core functions. And this is where we break down and I help them identify. So this is a clarity tool that we use to create clarity quickly. So you can have some different clarity tools that you use to help your, the homeowner or the potential client see what their biggest challenge is right now. And so you could break this down into different stages of the life cycle of the property. You could break it down into different challenges that investors might have, but you can say which of these this helps them identify what's the biggest problem for the business, or in my case, or for them, for the portfolio or the property right now. And they can help identify this. And so what we do is we have you rate this on a scale of 1 to 5. So you can take a look at this very quickly. You say, is my biggest problem? Which 5 being best, which one's weakest? Is it lead gen? Number 1, is it nurture, following up on those leads? Is it conversion, closing the deals? And my sales pitch, which this presentation hopefully will help with, is it delivery or fulfillment, operations? Is it number 5, customers' lifetime value, retention, resell, upsell, and pricing? Is it finances, cash flow, revenue, expenses, profit reporting, financial? So, for them, it could be like, my biggest challenge is finding and more properties, or it's getting funding. I need more money. Cool. I might know some people with money, right? So you can help them figure out what's your biggest challenge right now, because all they care about is what's in it for them. They care about what their problem is. So you need to know clearly what their problem is. For me, when a company comes to me and they say, oh, we just need leads. We just need outdoors. And then I go through this. Want to know what I typically find? I typically find delivery and fulfillment is a 4 or a 5. It's very high. And lead gen is a 1 a lot of times. But guess where they're spending 90% of their focus and time? On trying to make delivery and fulfillment always stay a 5. And so the challenge that I have is I have to help them see you cannot keep that at a 5 while lead gen is super bad and is a 1. You have to give up something a little bit and be willing for it not to be perfect in order to focus on the thing the business needs most right now. Now, sometimes what I'll find is delivery and fulfillment, if they're honest, is a 3. They feel like they should be better based on where their company is in size. Like deep down, I know it's not right. And then they know that the first 3, they're not selling with integrity if delivery and fulfillment isn't good. You can't go into the marketplace and crush it in a pitch if you're a liar, right? If you don't feel like with integrity, you can say, we're the best at helping you do this. We can solve your problem. You need to know that you're good. So then maybe you need to shift your focus to delivery and fulfillment instead of getting more leads. And so I've got my camera, so Sarah's like in the background. There you go. All right. So this is one of the magic tricks I pull out. And the real magic trick is that note. It says it's impossible for all 6 of these to be a 5 on a scale of 1 to 5 at the same time. This helps them see that they have to make choices and they need to figure out what do they need to focus on most. And depending on what they need to focus on most, we have programs and systems for that. And usually it breaks down to they either need to add more doors or they need to clean up the operational side of the business. And once they ramp up one of those, the other one starts to feel constraints and then they need to ramp up the other, right? This is the juggle of growing and scaling a business, is focusing on these different functions. Okay. Now I have different slides based on the challenges. So because I know the industry and I know property managers well, I have a whole bunch of slides that are related to the yellow belts or the solopreneur sand trap, where a lot of people get stuck as a single business owner. And these are the problems. Cycles suck. They have high churn. They're losing a lot of doors. They have a lot of accidental investors. They can't afford to hire. They have high operational costs because they're doing too much, more than they should be, taking too many phone calls, and they're spending too much time in their business. It's not scalable. This is very typical. So then I have slides that go down and break down these problems. Now, this would be a great slide that you can use in relation to showcasing this is why most property management businesses suck. And most do. I'm sure most of you believe that most of your competitors in your market suck. I hear this every day. Every property manager says, I started my business because all the other property managers in my market suck and I needed somebody to manage my investments, or I needed somebody to send investments to. So I decided to do it for my owners, right? So the reason they suck is because they take on any client, which means they're taking on any property. And then they have crappy owners and crappy properties and then crappy tenants, and they're going to get what? Crappy reviews. This sums up the entire industry in aggregate. This is why the property management industry has a bad reputation. And it makes the business not fun. It makes your costs 10 times higher and attracts more crappy owners. So the cycle continues, right? So this is something you can showcase to them as well. Do you want to touch on that at all?
Okay.
You're good. Okay.
No, you just do your thing.
All right.
I'm doing the
Sarah's working the chat. So if you have questions, ask in the chat. Sarah's helping me tag team. All right. Many hands makes light work. Okay. I added this slide because I wanted to eliminate the challenge of people being stubborn. And sometimes you run into some owners that are stubborn. And business owners, we're stubborn people a lot of times. We think we know everything, even if we're dealing with a problem. So some of you have heard the story of the tugboat or the, what is it? The lighthouse versus the battleship, or whatever it is, the lighthouse versus the battleship. The battleship's like flashing its lights Morse code, and the lighthouse is flashing back, but it thought it was another ship. And they're both telling each other to turn course. And they're like, I'm a battleship and I'm this level in the military and I'm like so important and blah, blah, blah. And the other one just flashes back, I'm a lighthouse. Right? Who wins? The lighthouse wins. So I want you to recognize you need to be the lighthouse. But you also need to trust us, right? You need to be willing to let us be a lighthouse for you, right? So this is a slide that I made to kind of disrupt their thinking a little bit. I have a slide here for the 4Ds to revenue. This could very easily apply to a rental property, right? The investors want to get more deals on. They want to have more doors. Per deal, they want to increase the duration of, how long they have these, and they want to increase the dollars. So you could come up with some sort of framework like this for them increasing their revenue. So this is stuff we focus on with clients. For a lot of you, the big leak we find is you're either not getting on deals with multiple doors, so you're going after the wrong clients, or you are not getting on deals that have a lengthy duration. So you're going after maybe a 1-year accidental investor versus a 10-year buy and hold. That duration multiple can be a 10 times multiple versus a 1 times multiple, right? So this could 10x your revenue, just increasing the duration. And so focusing on the right types of clients is going to help you get more money, right? And these are things that we help you maximize each of these 4 doors to revenue. So you can tell I'm a big fan of frameworks and visuals because frameworks and visuals help people absorb information very quickly. If I went into a whole conversation without this slide about how they need to increase the number of deals you're getting on, you need to increase the doors, you need to increase the duration, dollars and revenue, you wouldn't be able to absorb the information as quickly and you wouldn't be able to see this formula so simply, right? It's very easy to look at this and go, I could easily double the amount of money I'm doing if I just went from moving every deal was 1 door to getting 2 doors on average per deal, which means maybe some small multi, or maybe you're focused on investors with more than 1 unit. But if you can move the needle on that slightly, you could double your revenue, right? So, all right, I don't think I'm going to cover every slide in our deck, but I have a slide that showcases the difference between cold and warm leads. So let me explain though what I'm doing with this. So do we have a link to the Basecamp doc, the public link for the pitch thing where it's got mine, Hermosi, and the 3
I don't know if there's a
3
public link
dominoes?
for it.
There's a public link for it.
I
I just
can
need to find it in Basecamp. So,
I don't,
all right, I can find it real quick. It's probably in the,
well, I can't even get out of full screen. So
oh, you have to hit escape.
I did
Oh, I
like
don't know.
5 times. I
Okay.
already tried that.
You have to click that window and then escape maybe. But let me see if I can find this for real quick. Because I wanted to share this tool that we use in sales that might be helpful. All right. I don't know where it is, but I'm sure it's in the link of links. So if we find it, we'll find it. But the idea is this is based on a principle called the 3 dominoes, and the 3 dominoes that you need to destroy in order to close a deal. Now, here's how you map this out. And this is stuff we teach in our pitch week, part of our rapid revamp. But the idea is you need to destroy all the alternate vehicles. So most of the alternate vehicles for adding doors and growth that people would use besides door grow are related to cold leads. So all I have to do with this one slide, I'm destroying all of them in one fell swoop. There we go. And knocking them all down. So you want to make a list of what are all of the different vehicles they could use besides you. They could use the big, huge franchise property management company down the street. They could use whatever. You make a list of all the vehicles and you have to figure out, how do I throw stones at all these vehicles? How do I destroy all the vehicles? So your ultimate pitch deck would destroy all the vehicles. So I have a vehicle destroyer of cold leads. I can't see. There we go. I have different calculators where they can calculate their cold leads because they might be working with a marketing firm. So this will help poke holes in the lead generation that the marketing firm's doing for them, and will help them see that their acquisition costs are really high. Because most property managers lump all of their leads and deals together, when their warm leads, which are referrals, have a 90% close rate, and their cold leads they're doing with marketing firms have a very low close rate and a high cost. And so when we actually calculate that cost, I've had clients come through this calculator that have been spending on average like $1,400 or even $3,000 per acquisition. Now, if they spread that out among all their word of mouth referrals, it seemed good. But when you don't divide up the cold lead marketing from the warm lead stuff and evaluate them individually, you won't see this big leak. And so this cold leads calculator helps them separate out the cold leads so they can see, hey, my acquisition cost is not really profitable. I mean, I'm basically giving away a year of management for free if my acquisition cost is that high in some instances. I have a slide that destroys pay-per-click with agencies and why that doesn't work well. I have a slide that showcases SEO, the problem with SEO and internet marketing, and how the best deals are out here in the blue ocean versus over here in the red water with the sharks, where everybody else is super competitive and you get the worst, most price-sensitive clients. And I love saying that our clients focus more on warm leads, capturing them out here in the blue ocean, where they can charge more money. There's a lot less competition and they're able to close more deals more easily. And because there's lots and lots of fish out there. And even if it's just word of mouth, the dirty, ugly scraps that fall off the word of mouth table that I say fall off my client's table. Those are the ones searching on the internet. They're the worst, most price sensitive. And so this also destroys these internet marketing channels. I then go deeper and I show stats. I show how little search volume there is related to property management. And I then destroy content marketing and social and just say, nobody cares about following your social media. If you're a property manager, investors don't care about it, just like you don't care about following plumbers and watching plumbers that want your business. I then tackle pay per lead, which is another alternate vehicle to working with DoorGrow. And I showcase the difference between maybe APM leads and exclusive leads and how it can be super costly. And then I basically showcase, I call this Smart David versus Dumb David. And so you can see David versus Goliath. And the real story of David and Goliath is David didn't wear the armor. He didn't do the same stuff that Goliath was going to do, which is the pay-per-click and the SEO and the content marketing and pay-per-lead and social media marketing. This is dumb David. He's like, I'm going to do all the same stuff and he's going to get his ass kicked, right? Smart David had a hack. Notice he's carrying my brand, DoorGrow, right here. So these are some of the things I use to collapse time. I'm like, you need to do something different than going and I'm going to go fight against the biggest companies with the biggest budgets. I'm just going to do it in a smaller way and get my butt kicked by them. So then I kind of recap everything. So having recap slides can be really helpful. And this is like a lot of people want to know how to compete with these really big companies. So here's the challenges, problems with the big companies, their weak spots. If you want to take down Goliath, then here's the opportunities. And these are all related to what's in our Rapid Revamp program. So you can have a slide that kind of showcases some contrast there and summarizes. I then attack franchises, right? So I showcase why franchises are not, they hurt the industry as a whole. And they hurt a lot of business owners that bought into it thinking they would, everything would be systematized and super easy and they would just stack and add a bunch of doors. And yet franchises still become our clients wanting to grow. And so I basically attack all the alternate vehicles. That's domino number one. Domino number two, then we want to get into figuring out internal beliefs and then external beliefs, right? So is the third domino. So
I did find that I put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
All right. I wanted to give them the link where it shows the colors so they can see how it all fits together. But
yeah, that has links and pricing and I'm not.
Oh, that's the wrong one. We've got it. We've got another one
that's
somewhere.
That's the one I have. So
Okay.
it's in the chat.
All right. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it. I know it's in a document. Let's see if I can find this search in documents. Sales script. No. Okay. All right. All right.
Just go on because
All right.
it's in the chat, please.
Okay. Pipeline leaks. Okay. So here's our rapid revamp program. So I'm using a visual to showcase this so they can understand this is how visuals can become very powerful. So if I'm like, hey, you need all of this stuff and to do our program, it'd be very difficult for them to see why. Now, most of you want to do some sort of invest time, energy, focus, cash, and effort. Call those the 5 currencies. And you're going to turn on the spigot and funnel a whole bunch of more juice through this pipeline. But it doesn't make sense if you have major leaks in the pipeline to turn this on full blast, because then you're just wasting time, energy, focus, cash, and effort. And so we want to make sure that the business isn't starving, right? And if your business isn't getting the ROI and getting what you want out of this, it's probably because you have some significant leaks in your pipeline. So this visual helps showcase the problem. So you have to get creative and think, what would this be like? What would I compare this to? To me, it was very obvious. These were like big leaks in their sales pipeline. And everybody's like, I just need more leads. Cool. We could funnel way more leads through this. But if those are gaping holes in the hose, you're wasting leads, you're wasting money, you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, and it's not going to be as effective. It's going to take 10 times the work. If your pricing's bad, if your website's bad, if your pitch is bad, if your reviews are bad, if your branding is like real estate company or properties or something generic, it's bad, right? All of these things could be making it infinitely harder to close more deals. So we want to show off all the leaks. So this visual helps to showcase that.
And I
And
think you can do something very similar for your clients on your pitch deck. So think of all of the problems that they would typically have, and the answer is a property manager, well, a good property manager. So a good property manager is going to solve all of these things. So for them, it might be vacancies, it might be evictions, it might be bad tenants, it might be maintenance issues, it might be low rents, it might be that they're just not cash flowing. Like they bought a property and it's like it's a dud. It's not exactly the way that they thought it was going to go. Well, a good property manager fixes all of that. So you can use something very similar in your pitch.
Yeah. So Sarah and I made a funny video. We've got some funny videos on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/DoorGrow and go to our playlists section, we've got funny shorts. And one of those funny shorts that we did recently is 13 reasons why you might not need a property manager. And I think you'll enjoy that. So you can use those ideas. And basically it's like you love doing, having a part-time job, coordinating maintenance, or you love, these kind of things. And so it's very simple, easy thing to showcase all of the challenges and things that you deal with and just ask them, do you enjoy doing this stuff? And they'll probably laugh in your face and say, of course not. I don't enjoy that stuff. Cool. Then why are you doing it? Are you better at it than us? Probably not. Right. And so this is where you can showcase some of those leaks, for example. Okay. So I tackle some of those leaks. I use different examples. I'm going to skip through all of this rapid revamp stuff, but I go into detail about those different leaks, showcasing what we could do to help people, stuff like that. And I notice I have calculators. So I have like this website leaks assessment tool where you can grade your existing website, doorgrow.com/quiz. And sometimes you have to help them see the problem. So with your owners, investors, sometimes if you run a pro forma with them, you can show them the problem they can't see currently. And this is a magic trick. It shows you have expertise and it shows you can help them. So you need to show the pain and the problem. And so this creates what's called a pain gap in sales. The gap between the pain they have and the pleasure that they want is the pain gap. And the goal is to make that bigger so you can close the deal. That means you need to help them clearly identify the pain that they can't see. They have pain and sometimes they can't even see it. They're like, oh, I'm just used to doing this, or I always do it this way. And like, you shouldn't have to. Like, it could be this much better. So you need to showcase this pain gap. So this is how a lot of people think, oh, our website is already great and it's getting us some leads. And they don't realize how bad it is. And so we have them take this quiz and then they get an F or a D grade on their website, or maybe even a C if it's pretty good. But then they're like, hey, it could be a lot better. And if there's a leak in that, how many other leaks might I have? So this cracks open their brain a little bit to being open to the possibility that they don't have all the answers. They don't know it all. And your owners think they know it all if they've been doing it themselves. And they're finally reaching out because they have some sort of challenge. You need to help them find all of the other potential challenges and problems they're not seeing where they have risk, so that you can showcase that, or all the areas in which they don't really love doing those things. So, we have a missed deals calculator. This helps them now that they can see there's some leaks. Then I'm like, how many deals are you potentially missing out on? What's that worth to you? So this is the opportunity cost slide. And so you can create some sort of opportunity cost that showcases, here's what you're missing out on. For them, it might be they're just missing out on more time with their family, or maybe they're missing out on additional rent because they're charging so little. There's things that they're missing out on. And so you need to help them see that opportunity cost. Now, I love this slide. You're welcome to use this idea. So the idea here is that sometimes they're holding on to something. You want that owner to let go of self-management usually, right? I tell like potential clients, don't be the monkey holding onto the moldy peanuts. The moldy peanuts might be like, I don't want to spend any money to grow my business. They don't want to let go of something, or maybe it's, I don't want to let go of, like, spend a little bit more time, or whatever it is they're holding on to is that moldy peanuts in the monkey trap. They can't get their hand out. They can't get their hand out of the trap. And the farmer's going to come by and just chop off their head with the machete because the stupid monkey's been stealing his bananas, right? But the monkey's so dumb that it won't let go of the stupid moldy peanuts or the little item inside the monkey trap in order to just reach out. There's bananas all over the place nearby. There's something better. And so I love this analogy. And I say, just don't be the monkey holding on to the moldy peanuts. You already know what you have. If you're willing to let go of a little bit of that, let go of that, you can have something, it's within reach. Other people are doing this. You could have that too. And so I love this analogy or this idea to visually get across that sometimes they're just holding on to something they need to let go of. They don't trust that somebody else can manage the property well. And they're holding on to that moldy peanuts when they could be, and maybe they could have a much bigger portfolio if they were just willing to give up that piece. Maybe they'd have more rent. They think they need to control it all, but they're probably 10% below market value, and property management would be free for them if you just got it to market rate, right? Okay. So then here I have a recap slide, why you can't grow. So I list all the different problems that they maybe weren't seeing before. And now they can see they have some of these problems. They're like, oh my gosh, my website is good. My branding is a little bit off. I'm spending too much on marketing. I have too many leaks in my pipeline. I don't have a feedback mechanism. So I have poor retention. I think I'm great, but I don't know it, right? All these leaks. And so this really is twisting the knife in the pain so they can see they have problems. And then I have the solution. Like, here's our 90-day rapid revamp. So this is for people in the initial stages where they need to add doors or they want to increase their door flow through their pipeline. So we're going to focus on each of these things for 2 weeks. And then I have testimonials that we can share or case studies, and we have videos of related to each of these things, depending if one of these we identify as a really bad leak. Now, then we get into people that have a bigger problem. So you might have different types of avatars that you target. So you want to map them out. Like, you might have some of your avatars in your pitch deck you might be targeting are people that are the one-time accidental investor with one property, or maybe somebody with 100 units that's basically running his own company, but it's not going very well, or anything in between, right? So you want to map out what are the pain points and the problems that they have at these different stages of development. So we have another big category of avatar for us. The one that we really like to focus on are the 200 to 400 plus door companies. We call this the team sand trap at this stage, and they have the wrong team. You're wearing a bunch of the wrong hats. You're already micromanaging. You think you need more processes and KPIs to control your team more and squeeze more juice and more blood from the stone, so to speak. And what you really need is culture defined, and you need team members that match the 3 fits of culture fit, personality fit, and skill fit. There's perceived pain connected to getting more doors. So at this stage, a lot of you don't want to add more doors. We're like, we can help you add more doors. And you're like, that sounds unconsciously, you're like, that sounds painful. We're already hurting. We're busting at the seams. It's already uncomfortable. You likely know how to grow at this stage, but you're focused elsewhere. Well, I need to define more processes, or whatever it is, right? So I then have slides to disrupt that mindset, right? Because you are so valuable in your business. And during this stage, the more valuable you are to your company, the less valuable your company is. You could do something very similar for investors. The more important you are to that rental property, the less valuable your rental property is, right? To you, because now it's a job, it's work. And helping them understand to run it like a business and offload, a lot of them, if they're smart investors, they understand the idea of offloading. So maybe the business isn't sellable or scalable. So I have a slide that shows this org chart in which every hat is you, right? And some of you felt this pain before. Some of you feel like it's still you, but there's a person in those positions, but they just come to you for everything. And it's still you. You have to be every single thing in the business. So, and then we have some different frameworks where we kind of disrupt their mindset, right? You just have the wrong team and you're showing up as the wrong person. Maybe for your roles, you are not the right personality fit. You don't love every single thing you're doing. Culture fit means they share your values. Skill means they know how to do the job. And you can see these in between. I won't go too into this. My team can do that with you more on a call, but these are some different things to help them disrupt their mindset. A lot of entrepreneurs have this myth. So you need to figure out what things do they believe. These are internal beliefs. What things do they believe that are false, that are keeping them from letting you manage their property or making them self-manage. So one of our challenges is a lot of solopreneurs and even people in the Team Sand Trap believe that there's this magical person out there they could find that would be a clone of themselves, and they just need to find that person, and then all their hopes and dreams would come true. I call it the clone myth. So we need to destroy the clone myth because it's not true. If you could find somebody just like you, would you work for somebody? Probably not. Most entrepreneurs are now unemployable because they don't want to work for somebody, right?
I am.
Right? So you want ownership. You want to own the business. You want to be involved in it, right? Sarah's an owner in the business. And otherwise, she wouldn't just be working here at DoorGrow just to be an employee, right? And so she wants ownership. She wants to grow. And so the reality is, as an entrepreneur, it takes 10 people to duplicate yourself, right? So these are slides and visuals to disrupt mindset. This is one of my favorite slides. This showcases why you don't have the team and business of your dreams. It's because of you showing up as the wrong shape in the puzzle. You're doing things that you don't enjoy or that are uncomfortable. You're doing stuff that doesn't give you freedom and fulfillment and contribution. And because you then are building a team around yourself, when you're showing up as the wrong person, you build the wrong team around yourself. And then you're frustrated at your team. Why won't they just do what I say? Why won't they think for themselves? But it's because you aren't building a business around yourself the right way. And so at DoorGrow, we help with this significantly. So we'll help you build the right team around yourself so that you enjoy it. So these visuals, so I'm using the visual of a team and puzzle pieces, and notice our brand here in the transition. Notice the difference in emotions between these people and these people. Visuals convey a lot of information very quickly. So this could be a slide with a property owner and some frustrations and all the different things like maintenance coordination. You can put different symbols related to those. And hey, with us, we'll tackle this stuff and then we just pay you, right? And we make it easy. Okay. There's other things that property managers want is they want to exit their business someday. A lot of you are burnout. You hate your business. You don't like it. I know. You all secretly tell me, but it doesn't have to be that way. And so a lot of times you're thinking, I need to exit the business in order to have fulfillment and freedom and contribution and support. The reality is, if you build your business the right way and you then exit your business, you can't max out on those things. Like you're not going to have the maximum level of fulfillment and freedom if you're bored and you're an entrepreneur and you're just sitting by the pool all day long. That's basically, you feel like you've been put out to pasture to die, right? You want purpose. And for me, these are the 5 exits from Roland Frazier, one of our mentors and coaches. And you want to, number 1, you want to exit the line, stop doing the frontline work. You want to exit the staff, eventually exit the org chart, and maybe exit the board. For me, I'm in the position of CEO. I have not yet exited the entire org chart yet, but maybe someday that'll be something I want to do. But right now, for now, that's where I'm enjoying and having the most fun, right? But eventually you might go all the way to exiting the business. So don't think in order to exit the line or to exit the staff, you have to exit the entire business. That's not true. That's a fallacy. And I see that a lot. So what I'm doing with these slides is I'm disrupting internal beliefs that are preventing them from growing or preventing them from working with DoorGrow. So here's another slide with the 5 exits that you need to exit. And so our goal at DoorGrow is to make sure you build your business to sell. Build your business like you're going to exit it one day, because the reality is you will. You'll either die or, okay, we've got just a couple minutes. So let me see if we can wrap this up. So basically, if you build your business
really quick about how you close this out.
Okay. So I get into the solutions and I showcase all of our software. We showcase all our tools. I'll just skim through these real fast, like DoorGrow OS and DoorGrow OS. And I show them a roadmap out of hell, how to get out of doing everything themselves and doing the stuff they don't enjoy, and how to get the ultimate team. I showcase DoorGrow Flow, our process software, DoorGrow CRM, which is really cool. And I destroy the myth, internal belief, I don't have time. And I tell them it's all really about priorities. So I'm just destroying all these internal beliefs. Then we want to destroy all the external beliefs, like what's holding them back. You want to showcase, you need proof. Nobody's just going to believe what you say. So you need case studies, you need testimonials, you need faces with quotes next to them. So we showcase this. We have lots of case studies, testimonials. So make sure that you do that.
1 minute.
All right.
We have a call at 3.
Okay. We're going to wrap
I
up.
need you to wrap up.
All right.
I would like you to show them how you close in a pitch.
Okay. In the pitch deck, the goal to close, what I usually do is I transition to asking them if they want some help. Would you like some help with this? And they buy in. They say, would you like to hear about how we could help you? And they say yes. So that's where you'll then showcase and pitch. And then I have questions to wrap it up, like the crystal ball question. If we were to work together a year from now, how would you know this has been worth it? This helps me identify paradise. What do they want to get towards? So now I know what they want. I've got their pain, I've got their pleasure. So I love the crystal ball question. And then I ask them strategic questions. And this is strategic because it's psychologically, strategic. Some of you might say manipulative, but it gets them to think, right? I want you to answer, why is this a must for you right now? Now, the quality of your questions that you ask are going to give you a better quality output. If I said, why would this not be a good fit for you? Then they'll come up with reasons. Why is this a must for you right now? And so I list reasons for them, and these might be true. And then for closing, I prize and I take it away. I again reiterate, we don't work with everybody. So they're probably wanting it by now. And I'm then saying, look, are you ready to show up? And so you may want to have something called the 3 commitments for your own business. These are the types of clients we work with. You have to meet these three criteria. So come up with 3 things they have to fit in order for you to take them on as a client. You're willing to let us manage the property and not try to micromanage us, and you're going to trust us, or whatever it is. Come up with 3 things, these 3 commitments. And then we do things like the stack. So you can showcase all the different services, different things you do, how much time it takes, and you can stack the value, and it creates a big number. And then you're going to step that down and say, we don't charge that much. It's far less. So that's called the stack. So we have these slides with all this value. And then we include different bonuses and perks and reasons why they would want to work with us, discounts. And then I use some slides like, if all this did was finally help you do this, or just solve this one problem you had, or this thing, would it be worth it? And usually the answer is, a resounding yes. And then we give them the offer. We're like, it's only going to cost, X number of dollars, whatever it is. So it's, this is what it costs, right? We have other things that we do to make things easier. We have scholarships and third-party funding and, stuff like this we've worked out. This is the important thing to have at the end. This is one of the most important slides you could have, is a future pacing slide that showcases where they are in the journey. Like, we're going to do an interview with you, then you're going to sign an agreement, then you're going to invest, then we're going to do your welcome call onboarding. You need to roadmap the future and roadmap and showcase a future that includes you. So we're going to review the contract together, and we're going to do this and do this. And so that you're not really pushing them to close right then. You're just having them know the journey and getting them to choose the next step. And just each step, you let them know, here's the future path, and you just get them to take the next step. So it doesn't have to be high pressure. You're just guiding them along the path. And at each step, you're saying, do you want to move to this next step? And they're going, yeah. And they work with you. So that's kind of the secret of how we close the deals. We just roadmap the future with them. And then we invite them to the next call or the next conversation to do the next step. And make sure you hold their hand through these steps. We teach this in Sales Secrets, and we teach this in our pitch training, but you don't want to just point the way and say, go sign our contract. You want to do a call with them and have them sign the contract with you. So on the call, that's going to dramatically increase your close rate. There's a lot more to increasing your close rate. We would love to be able to share more with you. Hopefully this has been helpful for you to understand how I sell and some of the tactics that we use. There's a lot more depth to this. For those of you that are not yet clients, feel free to reach out. Those of you that are clients, comment in the chat real quick, say something awesome about us. I see several of you here. Tell them what they should do. And we would love to support you in your journey and make it all make sense for you financially to work with us. So reach out to DoorGrow. And for our clients that are here, hopefully this has been helpful to understand a little bit more about pitching leveraging pitch decks. And we are working on the ultimate pitch deck for all of you right now, for those that are in the program. I'm creating some really cool slides on showcasing hybrid, which will poison the well against all these percentage companies that are out there and all the flat fee companies that are out there. You'll have better pricing. It's going to be really cool. So you're going to love this. All right. That is it. Can we wrap? Are we done?
We can wrap up. If anyone has any additional questions or would like to reach out to us, then go ahead and let us know. I think Morgan and Justin will be reaching out to anybody after the call. If anyone has questions, would like additional support, would like more information on our program, or I think we will have a call recording available as well.
Yeah. So if you'd like call recording or to hear more about DoorGrow, then we'll make sure and reach out to everybody and get connected. So all of you provide your email when you join this call, I think. So we'll reach out and get that to you. And until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.